Everyone. So, due to the success of Barbossa's story, we've decided, we being my friends and I forgot myself, we've decided to continue the series, but first we're going to write up our characters' backstories. I've already done mine. This one is my friend Kai's. I will link his Twitter in the description, and if you make fan art for him, send it to either me or him, or anyone else that I'll link later. This is Dain. We have used the image of a dwarf from World of Warcraft for Dain because we currently have no art apart from the one I drew, and I'll just flash that there. It's very good, I know, but I wanted to go with something a bit more cooler. And once we've done all the characters' backstories, we will attempt to write up the story as it has happened so far, like our gameplay, the main things, the cool things, the things I think you'll like. Anyways, I hope you'll enjoy Dain.
Dain Ironfoot, the eldest of three, was born in the Iron Hills. Dain was born during a bitter cold winter, one that few in the region had witnessed before. He was not from a rich or renowned family, but one of humble surroundings and pride in its history. For Dain's bloodline can be traced back to the days when the dwarves came together from their tunnels and built the first city in the mountains, a fortress still held today and still a stronghold and safe haven for those who need it. As Dain grew up, he and his brothers were always in awe of their father, who they did not see much of, but they all knew the tales. Thurin, Dain's father, was the captain of the city guard, and his father Farin before him, dating back to when the Great Dwarven Library was opened within the capital of the Iron Hills. There's always been a member of Dain's family serving within the city guard, and since his grandfather's time, his family has commanded it. Dain knew that he would one day have to take his place as the new leader of the guard. Dain dreaded this. The feeling of expectation consumed him. He even wished to be outlived by his younger brothers to pass the duty of commander on to them. In his eyes, much worthier choices. During a winter hunting trip, Dain and his small company were ambushed by lowland dwarves, a clan split from the common folks whose twisted ways of ritual magic has made them corrupt and almost rabid. Dain's mountain goat, a creature often used as steeds by the dwarves, was struck down, and Dain was presumed dead. His kin was slain mercilessly in the blizzard. Those who survived were consumed by the cold weather as they tried to find a path back to where the company was. Dain gained slight consciousness, buried almost fully in snow. His body so numb he couldn't feel it. Breath escaped him, and the cold took over. He closed his eyes and embraced it. Time passed and became too cold to fight. Dain slipped into a numb slumber, expecting not to return. By the grace of the gods, fate was not done with the future city guard captain. The patter of small hooves across the snow came to a stop where Dain lay. A small shadow cast itself over the frozen dwarf. The figure dismounted from its small mount. As the shadowy figure loomed over, trying to figure out what he was looking at, the small creature that was being previously ridden on stood on the snow that was almost covering the whole dwarf. The animal sniffed and pushed away the snow with its snout and small tusks to reveal more of Dain. Suddenly, a high-pitched whistle echoed through the mountain range, shortly followed by another in the distance, and another, and another. More figures gathered where the body lay and dug away at the snow. Ropes were tied, and the small mounts tugged and pulled the armored dwarf from the snow and dragged him away with their masters following. The pygmy snowballs carried the dwarf for some time, until through the snow and the winds they arrived at their destination. The gnome travelers explained to the high gnome guards that they had found him whilst on a routine check along the mountain range. He was taken in and cared for. The bull rider that found Dain was rewarded, returning to his smithing shop soon after. Dain's eyes opened. The first thing he could see was a symbol in the ceiling above him. He was in a temple of some sort, warm and firelit with voices around him. He sat up, his hands and feet still cold. He was in the company of gnomes, the holy gnomes of Kraug, a small minority of their species who safeguard the borders surrounding their small village, and who care for books more than the outside world. Dain would rest for a few months until the snows melted and he could return home to the city guard. During his stay, he became accustomed to the temple and its teachings. The least he could do was offer any help whilst he stayed there. Once he returned home, he was hailed as a hero for surviving the deadly assault. Though Dain felt distanced and uneasy, he would have frequent dreams and visions of the Iron Hills being consumed by flames, screams, and reduced to rubble. This disturbed him greatly. But after time, Dain started to be spoken to, and rather than frightened during his dreams, and instead of grief, he felt warm. An orange glow took a hold of him, and he saw the holy symbol from the gnome temple. Moradin, the dwarf god that had saved his life and blessed him for a purpose, and in return he must serve him. His father, furious, sent him into exile after revealing his plan to become a holy paladin and to aid the gnomes in any way possible, only to return when he would choose to benefit his people instead of dishonoring them. The city god forbids holy pursuit and self-enlightenment through other means than common Iron Hill practices, as they only serve the king. Dain set a course to discover his faith, while trying to gain his honor back during his endeavors. There was a famous yearly tournament that had great rewards and tested man and beast equally. People and races from all corners of the map took part. What better chance to make a bit of gold for himself? And how hard could it be? Who could best a city guard dwarf?